A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant escalation of tensions, Russia has officially announced that it no longer considers itself bound by a self-imposed moratorium on the deployment of nuclear-capable intermediate-range missiles. This declaration, made by the Russian Foreign Ministry, comes amid rising tensions between Moscow and Washington over the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. The statement highlights that Russia perceives the development and deployment of intermediate-range weapons by the United States and its allies as a direct threat to its national security. Specifically, the ministry pointed to U.S. plans to deploy Typhoon and Dark Eagle missiles in Germany starting next year as a catalyst for this decision. The ministry expressed concerns that these actions create a destabilizing missile potential near Russian borders, which could lead to significant harmful consequences for regional and global stability, including the potential for a dangerous escalation of tensions between nuclear powers. While the Russian government did not specify what actions it might take in response, President Vladimir Putin has previously indicated plans to deploy new Orshnik missiles in Belarus later this year. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov emphasized that Russia no longer feels constrained by any limitations, stating, "Russia believes it has the right to take respective steps if necessary." He added that decisions regarding specific response measures would be based on an interdepartmental analysis of the scale of deployment of American and other Western intermediate-range missiles, as well as the overall international security situation. This announcement follows a series of provocative statements from both sides, particularly from former U.S. President Donald Trump, who recently ordered the repositioning of 2 U.S. nuclear submarines. Trump's actions were reportedly in response to remarks made by Dmitry Medvedev, the former Russian president and current deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council, who has made several alarming statements regarding nuclear threats. Medvedev's rhetoric has been interpreted as an attempt to bolster his standing with Putin by adopting a more aggressive posture towards the West. Last week, Medvedev warned Trump against playing the ultimatum game with Russia, asserting that new ultimatums from the U.S. would only escalate tensions and potentially lead to war. He characterized Russia's withdrawal from the moratorium as a direct consequence of NATO's anti-Russian policies, declaring, "This is a new reality all our opponents will have to reckon with." He further hinted at future steps that Russia might take in response to perceived threats from NATO countries. The potential deployment of intermediate-range missiles is particularly concerning given their ability to strike targets within a range of 500 to 5,500 kilometers, 310 to 3,400 miles. The 1987 Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces (INF) Treaty, which banned such missiles, was abandoned by both Washington and Moscow in 2019, with each side accusing the other of violations. Despite this abandonment, Russia had previously maintained a self-imposed moratorium on deploying these weapons until the U.S. took similar steps. The collapse of the INF Treaty has raised fears of a resurgence of Cold War-era tensions, reminiscent of the European missile crisis, when both the U.S. and the Soviet Union deployed intermediate-range missiles across the continent in the 1980s. The destabilizing nature of these weapons lies in their shorter flight times compared to intercontinental ballistic missiles, which could lead to hasty decisions in the event of a false alarm, thereby increasing the risk of a global nuclear conflict. Russia's Missile Forces chief has stated that the new Orshnik intermediate-range missile, which was first used against Ukraine in November, has a range capable of reaching all of Europe. The Orshnik missile can carry both conventional and nuclear warheads, and Putin has praised its capabilities, noting that its multiple warheads can strike targets at speeds up to Mach 10, making them difficult to intercept. He has also warned that the Orshnik could be employed against NATO allies who have supported Ukraine in its conflict with Russia. As the situation continues to evolve, the international community watches closely for any further developments. The implications of Russia's decision to abandon its moratorium on intermediate-range missiles could have far-reaching consequences for global security and stability. The potential for a new arms race looms large, as both sides prepare for an uncertain future marked by heightened tensions and the specter of nuclear conflict. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.